ada 3 orang panel pada hari ini, iaitu yang pertama adalah Miss Natasha binti Rusdy Wong, pemenang untuk blended learning, dan juga Mr. Aliffazraie bin Jali, apa nama tu? Ayalah. Dan juga yang ketiga terakhir adalah Miss Puteri Ariana binti Abdul Muhammad Puat. Okey, itu adalah panelis kita hari inilah. Okey, saya tidak mahu bercakap panjang, saya terus kepada sesi yang pertama ni. Sesi pertama ni lebih kepada technical lah, technical aspect di mana for the first session is a bit more to technical, di mana saya akan cuba berkongsi tentang bagaimana kita menghasilkan infografik, especially banner untuk kita punya eLEAP interface, di mana banner ni merupakan sesuatu yang bagi saya amat penting untuk kita memberitahu pelajar tentang kewujudan kelas kita tu secara weekly ataupun weekly lah. Okey. Nervous. Sorry. Okey, saya akan sharekan skrin, boleh ya?
Sila.
Ini adalah eLEAP interface di mana untuk kursus digital photography for designer lah, di mana kursus ini tidak mendapat anugerah, tetapi saya cuba terapkan elemen-elemen untuk berinteraksi dengan pelajar secara dengan jelas. Di mana untuk yang pertama ni, biasanya untuk minggu yang pertama dalam kita punya interface eLEAP ni, dia akan ada ruangan-ruangan kosong. Jadi kita kena mengisi setiap ruangan itu dengan contohnya minggu pertama sehingga minggu ke-14. Jadi biasanya untuk yang pertama ni saya akan letakkan banner untuk overall kelas tu. Kelas tu tentang apa kan? Kelas contohnya untuk yang ni kelas fotografi. Jadi saya akan letakkan GKG 2144 Digital Photography for Designer. Jadi how we can letakkan benda ni. Jadi untuk yang pertama saya akan gunakan Canva lah. Tapi biasanya saya gunakan Photoshop. Tapi untuk tutorial hari ini, bukan tutorial lah, untuk perkongsian hari ini mungkin saya akan tunjukkan Canva. Di mana Canva ni rasanya semua rakan pensyarah memang dah biasa. Tapi kita cuba tunjukkan sekali lagi lah. Boleh
Boleh.
Okey, boleh. Untuk banner ni, dalam Canva, dalam interface Canva, kita boleh type dekat carian ni. Linkodon. Ini bukan Linkodon ni. LinkedIn. Banner. Okey, kita boleh guna pakai template yang sedia ada ataupun we can create the new one. But the easiest way, maybe we can just pick one of the template here, dan kita akan edit lah daripada sini. Let's pick. Okay. Okay, dalam interface Canva, you can see memang dah ready, template memang dah ada. Kita mungkin just kalau kita nak ubah, kita just double click kita punya ni apa tu yang font tu kan, then just rename kita punya kursus. Contoh GKG 144. Okay, klik bahagian luar untuk deselect lah. Then we can resize it. Okay. Maybe dekat bawah ni kita boleh letakkan nama pensyarah lah yang apa ni, koordinator untuk kelas ini. Contohnya okay. Okay, next. Nampak kosong kan? Jadi kelas ni kelas fotografi sudah semestinya mesti ada kaitan. Contohnya saya akan cari gambar-gambar yang related dengan fotografi. Jadi saya dah sediakan dekat sini. Biasanya saya akan cari kat Google Image, Camera Lens, then Image. Cara dia mudah saja. Tak perlu download. Cara saya just copy macam ni lah. Copy, then masuk dekat sini tadi. Paste. Okey, dia akan muncul. Jadi kita tidak perlu cari dari folder mana kan. Kita letak folder dekat folder mana untuk meletakkan dalam kita punya ni. Banner ni. Okey, resize, adjust ikut kesesuaian. Okey. Then save. Save cara dia, tekan anak panah ni bawah, download. Okey, di sini saya nak ingatkan sedikit, make sure jangan pilih suggested ni, PNG ni. Because PNG ni dia punya size a bit besar jugalah. Jadi untuk kita letakkan di dalam eLEAP untuk memudahkan pelajar untuk akses, because sometimes student don't have a very good network coverage kan. Jadi we just choose a JPEG lah, small size, then we download. Okay, yellow monochrome. Okay, dah keluar dekat sini. Then bila kita dah save, apa yang kita boleh buat? Kita edit dekat sini. Tapi untuk pertama, biasanya turn editing ni dia biasanya off. Jadi kita kena turn editing on. Okay, turn edit. Then click edit. Edit setting. Maybe we can put ni announcement lah, apa ni. Kita letak announcement lagi lah. Okay. Biasanya untuk minggu pertama dia akan kosong. Jadi kita just drag punya gambar tadi. Dari folder yang kita pilih, just drag masuk dalam. It can appear. Dan make sure kita tick box ni. Because bila kita tidak tick box ni, dia tidak akan appear dalam kita punya interface. Okay, then save and display. Interface kita akan jadi macam ni, dia akan berubah. Kalau nak tengok overall, kita pergi. Okay, dia dah berubah. Bagi saya ni lagi mudah lah daripada kita just buat menulis. You just type on our interface, because bila kita letakkan gambar, pelajar dah melihat. Okay, so far boleh follow ke? Saya tahu memang benda ni pensyarah memang arif dah, tapi saya cuma recap lah. Terutamanya untuk pensyarah baru Ezra kan, dan juga maybe Dr. Mazi also can apply this technique lah. This method. Okay. Okay, for the first ni biasanya saya akan letakkan sinopsis dalam kita punya eLEAP. Sinopsis class and learning outcome. And the most important thing is class rule. Kita kena letakkan rule dalam kelas, because we don't want student untuk melanggar kita punya undang-undang ni. Siapa melanggar undang-undang gagal lah. Bukan gagal lah. Okay. I think that's all untuk interface ni. Rasanya boleh ya? Boleh. Yang lain pun kita boleh follow step yang sama lah. Macam untuk assessment, contohnya project 1, framing composition, and project 2, maybe kita boleh letakkan template untuk kalau hari raya, ada perayaan, hari raya, Christmas, and project 3 and the final project. Jadi kita boleh apply cara ni untuk kita punya eLEAP. Okay, untuk yang kedua saya akan cover untuk saya akan berkongsi untuk satu software freeware. Software ni biasanya digunakan lebih kepada contohnya untuk kelas-kelas yang melibatkan skill drawing contohnya. Dia boleh memudahkan proses untuk kita menunjukkan kepada pelajar lah. Contohnya demonstration, bagaimana drawing tu berlaku kan. Macam mana drawing tu dihasilkan, teknik-teknik dia macam mana, perspektif drawing macam mana. Dan kita akan gunakan software ini. Okay. Okey, pertama sekali untuk software ni, kelebihan dia kita boleh rakam kita punya kelas ataupun tutorial tanpa menggunakan internet. Kalau kita ada 2 webcam, lagi memudahkan kerja kita lah. Sebagai contohnya, Starcam ni adalah kamera 1. Yang ni adalah kamera nombor 2. Kamera nombor 2 ni adalah untuk kita merakam. Kita membuat practical demo. Okey, saya letakkan dekat sini. Sorry, bit sempit sikit. Supposed to be keluar dekat sini. Okey, sepatutnya ada muka saya dekat sini tapi ada masalah sedikit. Tapi tak apa, kita just abaikan yang itulah. Macam mana nak gunakan OBS ni untuk merakam kita punya tutorial? Dia ada 2 pilihan dekat sini. 2 pilihan sama streaming ataupun recording. Jadi biasanya kita akan start recording lah. Start recording. Okey. Saya akan start draw dekat sini. Just simple drawing lah. Ya, perspektif. Contoh. Okey. Kita dah mulakan kita punya tutorial. Dari sini kita boleh bercakap lah sambil kita melukis, sambil kita buat demo untuk memastikan student lagi faham kita punya proses. Di samping itu kita boleh rakam dan upload ke YouTube. Okay, stop. Bila kita stop recording, dia akan keluar dekat sini. Dalam video folder. Okay, itu satu. Dan yang kedua, tutup ni dulu. Dan kita akan masuk ke eLEAP. Before masuk ke eLEAP, kita akan upload lah terlebih dahulu video tadi tu. Upload dulu. Perspektif. Okey, di sini saya cuma mahu tunjuk contoh di mana dalam eLEAP tu kita boleh letakkan video itu bermain daripada kita letakkan link sahaja. Okey. Actually bila kita upload not made for kids lah.
Boleh tanya Amir?
Ya, ya.
Ini masuk ke YouTube ya?
Ya.
Siapa yang boleh view? Semua orang?
Yes, atau Alif deh. Sorry, kami segmen terlepas dia.
Kita boleh pilih. Tulis.
Oh, ada menangga.
Unlisted ni kan? Unlisted ni kan? Unlisted. Hanya mereka yang kita share link saja boleh view.
Okey. Student lah sebab ini kan
ya, betul,
ini,
betul.
Okay, unlisted Kita letak unlisted.
Yes, unlisted. Ada 3 option dekat sini. Bila public, semua orang boleh search lah.
Betul.
Private
Private tu maksudnya?
Private tu kita saja yang boleh tengok.
Okay, unlisted hanya orang yang ada link saja boleh masuk.
Ya, betul.
Okay.
Okay, copy video link ni. Video link. Klik close. Dan kita masuk ke eLEAP. Contohnya macam ni lah. Saya dah buat tutorial untuk kelas ni. Macam ni kan. Sebab biasanya dalam eLEAP kalau kita share melalui URL hanya URL saja yang akan keluar. Tapi dengan cara ni kita akan boleh play dekat sini lah sebagai contoh ni. Okey, cara dia adalah kita create new activity, label. Jangan ambil yang this URL. Okay, pergi ke activity and where is it? Mana label tadi? Okay, label. Okay, please watch this video. Okay, kita kena mark yang ni. Then klik yang pin kan ni. Bukan yang ni yang ini. Okay, link.
Link.
Copy paste dekat sini lah. No need to open new window lah. Just create link. Okay, tujuan nak panah ni kalau kita link dekat sini video ni tidak akan nampak dekat yang dekat luar lah. Jadi anak panah ni akan digantikan dengan video itu. Save and return. Okay, done. Ini untuk video yang perspektif tadi. Okay, kenapa saya buat begini? Tujuannya adalah student hanya perlu tengok eLEAP saja. Tidak perlu bila kita just create link dekat situ dia akan pergi kepada YouTube dan makan data lagi kan, makan dia punya data yang tidak begitu banyak. Jadi bila kita buat macam ni begini, mereka just perlu tengok eLEAP sajalah untuk tutorial, untuk untuk kita punya contohnya project brief, kita punya slide, just perlu klik dalam eLEAP saja. Jadi mereka tidak perlu pergi tempat lain.
Tapi Amir, kalau tadi kan video ini sudah dibuat masa di OBS tadi kan, terus link ke sini tanpa ke YouTube boleh juga.
Daripada OBS tadi kah? Mr. Louis? Sebab dari OBS tadi kita rakam sebenarnya.
Ya, kan sudah bila kita sudah rakam kan dia ada file kan. File yang dekat lokal kita itu kita linkkan terus ke sini boleh tak?
Besar. Size dia akan besar.
Size dia akan besar.
Bila kita upload dalam size akan besar. Sebab tu tujuan kita buat link tadi. Kalau kita gunakan YouTube ni sebagai kita punya peletakan lah. Kita punya profile. Kita letakkan YouTube dalam video dalam YouTube. Dan kita just tumpang eLEAP tu sebagai medium untuk kita melihat. Boleh Mr. Louis?
Boleh.
Okey. Ada satu cara lagi lah, tapi itu untuk streaming. Kita boleh gunakan Facebook, YouTube dalam OBS ni. Itu untuk streaming. Tapi itu mungkin different punya ni platform lah. Okey, saya rasa saya dah cover untuk OBS ni lah yang very simple. I think very simple punya proses. Tapi dalam OBS ni kita kena setting jugalah, ada beberapa setting kamera dan juga setting audio. Biasanya audio ni kita akan kalau kita ada beberapa device yang audio interface, saya panggil audio interface, kita boleh setting dalam ni lah. Contohnya masuk setting ke audio, kita boleh pilih mana satu yang kita nak pakai. Macam saya pakai sekarang adalah USB audio codec yang 4 ni. Okey, itu untuk audio. Okey. Yes. Okey. Saya rasa itu saja untuk perkongsian saya lah. Saya harap dapat membantu sedikit sebanyak rakan-rakan pensyarah untuk menambah kaedah dan metod untuk pengajaran dalam eLEAP ni. Mana dua metod ni saya selalu gunakanlah sepanjang daripada first semester di dalam UNIMAS ni kan. Lagi-lagi online. Jadi dua benda ni saya akan selalu gunakan terutamanya dalam tutorial dan juga penyampaian slide. Kalau macam ada pelajar request masalah network apa semua kan, saya akan rakam menggunakan OBS Studio ataupun ayat OBS Studio dan bagi upload dekat YouTube dan bagi link masukkan dalam eLEAP. Jadi itu memudahkan mereka lah. Okey. Rasanya itu saja, masa saya dah cukup 10.30. Saya harap okey lah. Jadi seterusnya saya nak menjemput lah our second panel, Miss Natasha binti Rusdy Wong dengan okey. The stage is yours. Dipersilakan.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Amir. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody is doing well. Okay, so today I would like to thank everyone for taking the time to be here with us. I'm a bit nervous, to be honest, but I'll try to just keep it up and hopefully I can finish on time. So today is more of a sharing session on my side. So the topic I'll be covering is increasing student engagement in an online environment. And hopefully it's going to be fun. It's a bit more casual. So if you have any question, please do ask along the way. There's no problem. Okay. So to start, I would like to say that I think during the previous Byte-Size workshop, Mr. Encik Yao, Puan Sharifah, and Kak Noor Haslina has already explained in very detailed hold on, yeah, I think my screen is having a problem. Okay, are you still able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, sorry about that. So they have explained in detail about how to apply and what to do. So if you guys are interested to see that, I do suggest you go to the YouTube video at Calm's YouTube channel. And then if you're interested, you can also scan this to QR code, which I can share later on. And you can see my teaching portfolio and my nomination from there. So I'd like to say once again, welcome to my sharing session. Hopefully it's going to be fun. And I'm more towards talking about what I've done. And I'm not going to be talking about how I apply and what should you send, because I think the previous speaker has done it really well already. So today I'll be talking about engagement. So what is engagement, student and online learning, educators' role in online learning, and increasing student engagement, right? So we'll start off with what is engagement. So in the context of online education, engagement can be defined as a measure of a student's participation in the learning process. This includes the interaction and cooperation with the teacher and the classmate. I think we all been through this past semester or this past year, where in the class you had a bit more control, but online you don't actually have that much control over the student. So that part was very challenging to me. So that's the part that I really wanted to cover for my teaching excellence application. So, but why is engagement so important? Well, probably because when it comes to online, nothing else would probably actually really work unless you really engage the student. Because low student engagement result in boredom, alienation, and consequent low achievement. So this is also a sure way to evaluate yourself whether what you're teaching is effective or not. So the first question I asked myself during the first announcement that we'll be doing things online is, how do I increase student engagement in my online classes? I have never taught online. I've always watched a lot of YouTubers, but I myself have never tried to do it before. So this was me at the beginning of the semester, confused unga bunga. So I was trying to understand what is going on and how can I engage my student better. So I thought, why not? The first step is to get to know my students. How do they actually learn online? So behind the camera, I think this is what all lecturers wish happens. We wish that the students' parents will be sitting next to them and making sure that they do work. But more often than not, that's not the case. Most of the time, they might be outside, they might be working, or they might just be alone in the room where the bed is just next to them, or they themselves are on the bed. They haven't even mandi, belum makan, we also don't know. So this is not the case behind the camera. So having been a student myself as well during online with PGDIP, I have put myself in their shoes, and this is the mantra for all students, I think. And those of you with children, maybe you guys have seen this before. So first, they turn on their computer and mobile device in preparation for their online class, and then they check in. They make sure they get their attendance. They say hi to their friends, and then they tell their friends, "Oh, can you just please focus? I might have a bad internet connection," and then they zone out. So now they're off to dreamland. Even though they're sitting in front of the camera, they're looking at you, their mind might be somewhere else. So this is where engagement is very important to me because it keeps the focus. So this is shown all throughout the internet. I don't know about you, but from what I know, the youth nowadays, they speak in memes. Yeah, if you don't know what memes are just funny pictures on the internet. So if you search about online learning throughout the internet, the first thing on Google that you're going to see is all these memes. So even parents are talking about it. My kid during his remote learning class, dance music, and the person is just sleeping there. And then previously, if you see in all the Facebook pages of all the universities, most students they'll be posting this kind of comment as well, that they find it very hard to focus online, they cannot understand, and sometimes they have internet connection problems. So I think that is the standard problem for all students throughout this 1.5 years. Yeah. So I think the number one thing that I felt myself when I was learning online and teaching online as well is that we don't have connection. We lack connection because now we only have a screen to look at. So you're looking at me and I'm a pixel on your screen. It doesn't feel like we're connecting. So low engagement levels during online classes is because of distraction. Obviously, they have their phone next to them. They have their friends. They might be in a cafe together in this future semester, which makes it even harder because now they can hang out, but we still have to teach online. Asynchronous classes are good as well for those students with bad network connection, but unfortunately, through my interview with my students, they feel even more distant and isolated because now they have to do independent study. And unfortunately, I don't know about you, but my students, they feel it hard to be disciplined and to learn, especially in the course that I was tackling, which is software. Something new, something very hard. So I feel like their self-discipline and to initiate learning is quite hard. And then morale is of course low because they can't connect and socialize with their classmates. Most of them don't know each other. They never even heard each other's voice. And they're at that age where all you want to do is lepak. All you want to do is just hang out with your friends. So that part would be very tricky for them. So connection during online class is low or non-existent. Okay, so where did I start? So I start by getting to know them and what they like and what I like as well. So the professionals at this online platform are YouTubers. So this is, I think every student know this. Every student know YouTube, and every lecturer here also I think has used YouTube videos in their eLEAPs. So these are the people, these YouTubers are actually the person that already pioneered in online learning in a way, in teaching since the very beginning. Yeah, so I start searching about all the popular channels. So like for example, just reacting to videos can gain 3 million views. Okay, teaching English through movies, 2 to 3 million views. There are people who also record themselves learning or studying in front of the camera. They don't say anything, they just do their work and they stream it out, and that can gain up to 5 to 6 million views on average, because a student feel connected when they see someone else studying alongside them, they want to study too. So these kind of channels are growing. And then we also have vlog style systems where we're talking quite naturally, quite casually, as I am doing to you guys now. So that one also on average 2 to 3 million views, but it depends on the editing style. So what I've noticed through my research through YouTube is that number one, students feel good when they give you something and you give feedback to them in real time, because that feels more like a conversation rather than, okay, I'll just give you feedback through eLEAPs or I'll give you through WhatsApp, because it feels a bit disconnected. But if you do it in class, they'll feel like, okay, I'm talking to my lecturer. Yeah, vlog style as well. They don't like, now it's no longer enough to be a good speaker. You must be able to be enthusiastic. You must be able to be happy when you see them. So that's part of it as well. So all these YouTubers have really good engagement systems, which I've learned. So I'm going to share some. Yeah, but the first thing that I've learned is that the educator's role now is no longer limited to just content expert, facilitator, mentor, and lecturer. Like I said before, it's no longer good enough to be just a good speaker. Now we have to be a learning coach, we have to be a role model, we have to be a motivator, and we must be willing to be learning with them as well. Just like how they are learning to learn online, we have to learn how to teach online as well. So I share my struggle with my student. They teach me how to set up my platform. So yeah. So basically, I have myself have to become like a YouTuber in a way. So that's how I approach my engagement. So my approach in teaching is quite simple. Every class, every week will be separated into two sections. The first section will be a lecture or a demo, which is actually quite contradicting to what the Teaching Excellence Award application. It says that you cannot just lecture, but that's my method. I'm just lecturing. Simple saja. I just share my slides and I'm just talking. And then we take a break because I think it's good to put breaks in between. Mine is usually 10 to 15 minutes. And then after that, I'll do an exercise in the afternoon where I apply what I've taught in the first half. Yeah. So what makes my lecture a bit different is that I try to be a bit more like a YouTuber per se. Yeah, I'm more casual. I wanted my lecture sessions to feel more natural and relaxed. My attitude, I'm always positive and eager to learn with the students. Yeah. So whatever they give me, the feedback is usually I'm very eager to know what they like as well. And to be honest with you, I was never a K-pop fan until my students told me about all of this BTS, and I found out about it, and I myself now I like it. So those are the things, that kind of interaction. So the attitude of I want to get to know you is very important. And then another thing is fun factor. Now learning online is already very dry as it is, especially in our situation where everyone is so isolated. So I feel like it was very important for me to have something fun in my class. And if I'm having fun teaching, then the student will definitely have fun learning as well. So that's one part. So one way of putting fun into my classes is that, for example, I have to teach Photoshop. So in one of the weeks, I told them we're going to do Photoshop battle where we have to do funny photos. So this is my example. I have declared that I am the eighth member of BTS. I've danced with one of the dancers. I got kicked in the face. So far, they really liked it. The response was quite well. And I think this part was quite interesting to me because for the first time, a few students that is usually silent, they unmute themselves just so that I can hear them laugh. They themselves, they took the initiative to unmute and laugh. So some of the students, their first word to me is actually their laughter. So that was quite fun to me, and then that's how we get to know each other. So their response also is quite interesting. I'll show you later on. Okay. So not only that, after I finish covering all of my learning units, at the end of the semester, I will take 2 to 3 weeks to just talk about mental health. Because as you know, during our isolation, it was quite, especially those yang kena quarantine, I think got it really bad. You're dealing with the paranoia. You're worried about the people that you've contacted. So I talked about how do you handle stress? How do you learn in your own way? Different type of learning. Like if you're a night owl, what time should you wake up? How should you eat? Things that helps me as well. I just shared to them. I talked about the growth mindset and then the goal and value based life, just to give them some idea on how to manage their stress and their time as well. So I also make bets with them. Like I think everyone kind of knows that I do dress up as Naruto. So one of the weeks I kind of bet with my students. I say that okay, if 80% of you can submit your assignment on time, I will wear a Naruto costume in our next class. And fortunately enough, alhamdulillah, they all did it. Those yang tak submit memang the student that has been missing throughout the entire semester. But fortunately, this group has been great my previous semester. So I lost my bet and I had to wear Naruto costume. And I'm happy to do it because they all submitted on time. So no late submissions. So overall, did it work? It kind of worked, I think, but of course, this is my first time trying. I think I do need to be a bit more engaged. I do think that my flow needs to be a bit better. Sometimes, I'm stuck between being just lecturing mode and actually just connecting with my student, looking at the camera and not just looking at the screen. Sometimes I do forget that there are also a human being behind it. I can be a bit harsh, but I think this is a good reflection exercise for me. So Throughout the feedback that I receive, are the Photoshop battles effective at reinforcing the learning units? In the 1 year and a half that I've been teaching this particular course, more than 60-70% of them said yes, so I'm quite happy with that. And they do feel connected with me. My semester, my batch 19-20 year is a bit more, I guess, because we've seen each other face to face. So the previous semester I haven't seen them face to face. Perhaps that is why. But yeah, I'm planning to get to know why as well. So the feedback from my students about the Photoshop battles activities are quite good. They all wanted more of it. They really enjoyed it. I split them into groups. So there are 4 groups, so they have to battle each group with each other, give them a sense of thrill, you know, and I'll give them points. And then my plan is the winner will get a secret recipe cake. So hopefully next semester when we are able to see face to face, I'll just buy a cake for the entire class, maybe 4 cakes, because I now owe 2 batches of student recipe cake, secret recipe cake. So that's part of the plan as well. So now I just like to share something. Is that okay with everyone? I like to share. Okay, we have this thing that's called highlight reels. Yeah, I know some lecturer has that, but I don't have that. So I would like to share a disaster reel with you guys, if that's okay. Because to be honest with you, nothing goes smoothly online when you're teaching online. So I just like to share that with you guys. A bit of context behind this video though that I'm about to show you. It's not that long, about a minute and a half. Is that number one, I've told my student before that when I was a kid, during Hari Raya, Aidilfitri, I got chased by a goose. Yeah, and I'm pretty traumatized about it. So you'll see that later on. And that I don't like to eat tomato. So this is what I mean by connection as well. The student kind of listen and they pick up on these things. So I'll share with you my video now, yeah? Yes, but you're doing it
It is
digital.
digital or what?
It's
Digital,
digital. Shamir, this is digital
I see,
media
I see.
class.
My
It's
mistake.
in the name.
Aye.
Introduction to digital media. I
Aye.
just for you. Baru bangun ke? Tengok your file yang you hantar, okay? Alright.
Apa kau ada kelas
Betul. Ada kelas. Jangan kacau.
Selalu.
Kau buat apa, Be?
Dan Amanda, Eliza Amanda, let's go. Oh Lord, forgive me, Amir. When someone I can survive this, but I just something that will it's a tomato. Apa ni?
Tomato!
Reject! Reject! The face and
That's been a good
Alright, thank you for watching. So that was the disaster reel of my 1 year and a half of teaching online. As you can see, some students were half awake. I myself was not feeling it, so I just keep laughing. But overall, it was a very fun experience teaching online, and I hope to be able to engage to my student a bit better for this coming semester. So to end my presentation, I would like to say that this is my teaching philosophy for online teaching. So it is a quote by Albert Einstein. It goes by, "It is the supreme art of the teacher to awaken joy in creative expression and knowledge." So to end my presentation, I would like to say thank you very much to Dr. Sal for pushing me to apply. I would like to say thank you very much to Mr. Yao, Kak Nur Hasdina, and then Puan Sharifah, because their presentation for the previous Byte-Size workshop was really helpful. And also shout out to all my PGDIP lecturers, because that made me know what to apply and what to say in the application form. So if there is any question, I can take it from the audience. So that was actually my application for Online Teaching Excellence Award, the transformative teaching, because I really tried to make sure my students was engaged, and fortunately enough, my feedback was quite good from my students. Yeah, so I think it's important to actually be be casual and be fun in your class as well.
Okay, so I have one very simple question. Seeing that a lot of your student, I mean, I can see that they were having fun with your class. I'm sure perhaps a few, like maybe several students would stay quiet. So do you, how do you, like approach them? I mean, do you have problem with engaging students to make them more active? And then can you share what's the, you can say the most unactive student that you have gone through, and how do you manage to engage them?
Okay, the most unactive students are probably the ones that's living in the really rural area. So most of them have connection issues. So most of the time, my engagement with them will probably through WhatsApp or WhatsApp call, because unfortunately, in even in Teams or any online platform, teaching online platform, they can't really connect. So most of these students that are quite quiet in my class is either because they can only hear, they cannot interact. So similar to in class, if they're really quiet, I just make it a point to get to know them. I will message them, how are you doing? Well, are you free tomorrow? We can talk. I can brief you if you need. One thing to note also is that I record all of my sessions. So even though it's asynchronous or synchronous, I definitely will record everything so that they can refer back. And the good thing about YouTube is that if they don't have connection at that moment, they can go to a city. For example, I have a student that once a week, the student will go to the city just to connect to the internet, a free Wi-Fi, and they will download the videos on YouTube. So there is a download section on YouTube. So what they can do is they can download banyak-banyak, they can press that button, and then once they go back to their place with no connection issues, they can rewatch it again. So unfortunately, in cases like that, I'm gonna have to put a bit more time in it. So some of them are only free at night because they work as Grab food drivers as well. So yeah, I just make it a point where this a year and a half, there's no such thing as office hours for me at that moment. So if they're free at 12 a.m., then I'll have to talk with them at 12 a.m. Fortunately, only less than 5 of them were that case. So that's how I engage with students that are unactive as well. For those students that are introvert, for example, they have good connection, but they don't want to engage. I do have a page set up, a Padlet page, similar to UNIMAS Confessions, where they can post anything anonymously. Yeah, so I can share with you my screen again if you guys hold on, yeah. Yeah, so this is my Padlet page. It's called Drop Me a Message. So they can drop messages to me anonymously. So when they're stressed, I put motivational video. They share things that are interesting to them. So if you can see, it's like most of them do rant out their problems. So I engage with them. So if they feel shy because they don't want to be known, because that's also some students feel that way. I want to say something, but I don't want people to know. Takut malu. I'm scared. I'm nervous. So this is where they can do it comfortably. And so far, the engagement in this page also is quite good. So for 1 year's worth, I received quite a lot of messages, especially after my mental health talk, when I talk about mind chatter, especially like how do you talk to yourself. There is this voice in our head that we don't really notice, but when we do a mistake, is it constructive or is it very negative talking to you? So I told them to be more aware of that. So most of them respond really quite well to that session as well. So this is what I've had so far. So I do respond to them as well here. So this is a page private for me and my students only lah. So it's not open to the public or any other students. It's just the students in my class so that I can control it a bit better. Yeah. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you very much. You did. Yeah,
Alright.
Thank you.
Okay. Kalau tak ada, then probably that's it from me. I hope, yeah. Thank you very much, everybody.
Natasha.
Thank
Your
you,
way
Dr.
is so
Marzi.
creative. So yeah, your way is so
Thank you.
creative. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, so thank you everybody for listening.
Okay, terima kasih. Clap hand, applause.
I don't think they have applause here, right? In this team.
We have it. Applause, yeah. Real applause. Okay, thank you so much, Ian, Miss Natasha. Okay, a very good sharing session from our winner of Teaching Excellence Awards semester 1, Miss Natasha binti Rusdy Wong. No wonder she won the awards lah. Okay, next, without further ado, I would like to invite our third panel, Mr.
Non-winner.
dengan Mr. Aliffazraie bin Jali. Okay, the stage is yours.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, all right. Okay, so I'm a non-winner for teaching excellent. Okay, all right. So yes, thank you, Miss Natasha, for the interesting sharing session just now. I hope everyone can see the slide. So just raise your hand if you can't see the slide. Okay, so for today, okay, so I'm going to go for slightly more, you can say, serious, okay, serious topic. Okay, so it's a drastic change from Natasha's topic, okay, to my topic. But I would try not to scare everyone too much. I'm just trying to give, you can say, tips or hint to achieve our KPI on a minimum level. Okay. All right. So my topic will be handy tools for ODL. You can say it is handy tools for dummy lah. Okay, so for those who are new, I think a few of the lecturers are still new. So you can try my tips or you can try my trick to achieve, for example, blended learning status, the blended learning practitioner. Okay, and also completing the course file, heaps, and also FRC document. Okay, that so many of the program coordinator are bugged with. Okay, so I will focus on idle blend to learning. Idle here means that you take a slightly lazier, not say lazy, sorry, you take a slightly more minimum effort. Okay, but minimum effort you achieve the most minimum requirement for the KPI. Okay, KPI or the requirement for certain document, for example, like course file, and then there are some checklists for the course file and also some required document for HIPS and also FRC. Okay, so I did this for a year now. So far, no complaint from my program coordinators, both from Mr. Yao and also Dr. Miao. So no complaint from them. So I think I'm doing the right thing. Okay, so let's see how I go for it. Okay, so the objective, okay, for my talk would be the first one to identify basic app or software for minimum upkeep. Okay, upkeep means maintenance. Okay, don't worry. So the software that I will be showing you guys, the software that I'm using will be the most basic and it's very user friendly. Okay, so I will mention some other software that are slightly, you can say, more complex. Okay, but I'm not going to recommend those. Okay, so because I know that a lot of us here are still new, okay, or that we don't want to learn more complex software. Okay, so I'm going to keep it to basic application or software. Okay, next would be, okay, so we see how to optimize the benefits of this software that I will be introducing. Okay, because this software, okay, especially for eLEAP, you can recycle the software. Okay, and you can also use them in conjunction with achieving the checklist for course file and also for the HIPS and also FRC. Okay, next will be linking the apps or software to other compulsory KPM documentation. Okay, so this is basically what UNIMAS wants. For example, HIPS and also FRC. So how are we going to, you can say, exploit this software, okay, to achieve all of this KPM compulsory documentation. Okay. All right, so just an overview for everyone. Okay, so this is the most minimum requirement to achieve the blended learning practitioner requirement. Okay, so perhaps this will be still new to Dr. Mazi. Okay, so you might want to be aware of this. But I think since you are slightly new, okay, so your program coordinator might not be strict on this. Okay, but as for eLEAP, yes, we have certain requirement, and then all of us are actually urged to achieve the blended learning practitioner status. Okay, so these are all the most minimum. Okay, the most minimum requirement or checklist. Okay, so the first thing you have to include course info. Okay, this can be in form of course outline, or course calendar. This is very easy. I think this one, you just upload the course plan or course online, you already achieve this. So only one item. Okay. Next will be resources. Okay. This can be notes. Okay. It can be a PowerPoint or it can be external notes. Okay. So you only need 7 items for this. Okay. Next would be activities. Okay. So activity is something that you have. I mean, it is sort of like a proof, okay, that shows that you are actively interacting with the students. Okay, so you need 3 separate activities. It cannot be within one activity. Okay, and then you split the activity into 3, or it cannot be. So it's not cannot be, but it's highly not advised for you to make one activity, okay, and then split it into 3 sub-activities, okay, because this one you will risk having the eLEAP people getting confused, okay, or the system getting confused. So it will only count your activities into one, okay. So I prefer having 3 separate activities, okay, so on 3 separate softwares, okay. So it's easy for the website, the website, to track your activities, okay, and also for the for the eLEAP staff to keep track of your activities, okay, because if you have these sub activities, okay, the system will not track your extra activities, so it will count as only one, okay, so your status will not be inducted into the practitioner, okay, then you have to call them, okay, so when you call them, you basically waste time, okay. So far, I have not been forced to call eLEAP, okay, because of this problem, okay, the activity problem. Okay, next would be assessment. Okay, so assessment, it can be in terms of your project. You can also use a function in eLEAP. Okay, but so for today, I'm going to focus on these activities because I think the other 3, the course info, resources, and assessment, is very easy to achieve. Okay, so this activity part is quite tricky. Okay, but I will mention how to achieve this checklist on course file and also HIPS as well as FRC. Okay, so this list or this summary is updated on the 8th of February 2019. So I'm not sure if there's new ones. Okay, but this one I got it directly from the eLEAP website. Okay, so I hope Dr. Terry can verify this. I mean, if this is wrong, okay, so I would like to ask Dr. Terry to clarify if it's wrong lah. Okay, if no answer, then we just take it as this is the most recent one. Okay.
Yes.
It is new, huh? Okay, thank you, Dr. Terry. Okay, so next would be the audit and documentation. Okay, so these are the ones that we have to achieve. Okay, so I mean we have to complete some every semester, or some will be yearly. Okay, so the first one, course filing, course files. Next would be the HIPS, the high impact education practices. Next would be FRC. Okay, don't worry, I'm not going into details on each one of these. Okay, because I think you've been receiving email from Miss Karen and then also from your program coordinator on how to achieve this. Okay, what I will do by the end of this talk, I will summarize what are the most important component. Okay, because all these 3 what you call this KPI, okay, they actually share somewhat similar document. Okay, so you can reuse document in all 3 KPIs. Okay, that's what I did actually for my courses. Okay, for the past 1 year. Okay, all right. So I will be introducing and recommending these 3 you can say app/software. Okay. These are very user friendly, okay, but perhaps Miro might need some more effort for you to learn more, okay, because it is slightly quite complex, okay, similar to Canva that Mr. Amir shares now, but I think Miro, you don't have to do nothing much, okay. You just provide the platform for the student, okay, and then the student will not automatically, I mean the student will have to fill in that platform, okay, so it's basically a proof of their work, okay, and you can just monitor them through this Miro platform, okay. And the one thing why I like what Miro is that you can compile one single project, okay. You can actually compile many projects, but I prefer to just use one it's called one page is called board. Okay, board, B-O-A-R-D. Okay, so I prefer to use one board for one project. Okay, unless if the project is connected to each other. For example, project 1 is strictly connected to project 2. Okay, so for you to continue to project 2, you have to complete project 1. Then you can still use one board. Okay. And next will be SurveyMonkey. Okay, so I think most of us has interacted with SurveyMonkey. It's similar to, I forgot the name of that software. It's called Poll something. Okay, it's looking at polls lah basically. Okay, so other noteworthy software. Okay, some of you I think use frequently. Okay, will be Padlet. Okay, so this one I'm not going to cover. Okay, so Padlet is one very easy way to achieve the blended learning criteria. Okay, but I don't like to recycle Padlet, meaning that I don't want to, I mean, just because I want to achieve that 3 minimum items, okay, and then I put up 3 Padlets, okay, because I think that is going to be such a bore to the students. Okay, so it's better to make a variety out of your software. Okay, so you can use Padlet. For me, I prefer to use it just once. Okay, so in every course. Okay, next will be Mentimeter. Okay, this is also a very good way to cheat the criteria because it's very easy. Okay, so you can just link, you can just put up the link into eLEAP. Okay, and automatically the eLEAP system will count it as activity. Okay, if not, then you have to manually label. Okay, means that you have to put activity number 1 Mentimeter. Okay, then only either the system or the eLEAP staff will register it as one of the activity items. Okay, next will be quizzes, also one of my favorite. It's good for quiz. Okay, so quiz is also similar to Kahoot. Okay, in my opinion, quizzes is good for asynchronous quiz, meaning that the student can take the quiz in their own times. Okay, or you can set the timing for the quiz. Okay, so similar with the quiz function on the eLEAP website. Okay, so Kahoot is fun for synchronous quiz. Okay, so it's much more faster. Okay, because once everybody answer the question, you will be proceeded into the next question. Okay, bila semua dah habis jawab, semua akan dimajukan kepada soalan seterusnya. Okay, for example, quizzes you can limit to 30 seconds. Okay, but if let's say some students are quite slow, they will take the whole 30 seconds. Okay, so to answer the question. But with Kahoot, okay, so everything has to be simple. So they have to answer. You can also put limited timer. Okay, so on the question as well. So in a way to move the quiz forward faster. All right. Okay, so for eLEAP, for the blended learning, so we will see how to achieve it. Okay, so we have this is now the most minimum requirement. Okay, so for eLEAP blended learning practitioner. So I've gone through the report. I think 90%, 90% kursus berjaya mencapai status blended learning. Okay, so 90% are able to achieve that status for blended learning practitioner. Okay, so another 10%, I saw some of them missing just one item left. So for example, they only made 2 out of 3 activities. Okay, so what I would do, okay, so if it were me, I would use as simple software, as simple app as possible. Okay, but of course you have to keep track of the report. Okay, because I think Madam Sharifah, Madam Sherry, she would usually send email. Okay, and recently Dr. Sal sent the email. So I think in the coming times, Mr. Amir will send in the report. Okay, sometimes it's the mid report, sometimes it's the final report. Okay, so if let's say you are only left with 1, okay, so you only achieve 2 out of 1, 2 out of 3, just use chat box, easy. Okay, but you have to make sure that it is here there is this requirement. Okay, at least 1 response each. Okay, meaning that minimum at minimum level, only 1 student is required, okay, to respond to your activities for it to be counted as successful item. Okay, so sekurang-kurangnya seorang pelajar, okay, dia mesti bagi respon untuk aktiviti dikira sebagai item, okay, untuk eLEAP blended learning. Okay, of course we prefer all students to respond, okay, because wait, let me check. This is the new website for eLEAP. Okay, so now there is no star. Okay, previously there are stars. Sebenarnya dia tunjuk bintang. Okay, so nampaknya baru-baru ini tak ada lagi bintang. So there's no more star. So I think it gives us less stress. Okay, because some people they want to achieve all 3 stars. Okay, because for the stars, I think it has to be like 70% student. Okay, 70% of the students, okay, in your class have to respond to your activities. Okay, but now since there's no star, I think you can just get 1 student, okay, to respond to your activity. Okay, so this is the previous one. Okay, the previous eLEAP, the old one, the eLEAP Vault. Okay, so I use my method and I use my method on a very minimum scale. Okay, and I achieved 3 stars. I was actually quite surprised I got the 3 star because I don't think I wanted to aim for 3 star. Okay, for me, 1 star at minimum, as long as I achieve all of these, as long as I achieve all of these items, I'm good to go. Okay, because I think all of us are quite busy. Okay, so with our job as well. Okay, so as long as you can achieve the most minimum, that I think is fine. Okay, so you achieve what Dr. Puteri and also Dr. Sad has set for every one of us. Okay, but if you can do more than that, if you can go the extra mile, by all means go. Okay, so it's better. Okay, at least you can nominate your eLEAP for the teaching excellence. Okay, so that will contribute to your portfolio. Okay. All right, so for blended learning, okay. All right, so what I do is, okay, so since it requires us to put 3 items, so I will use all 3 here. Okay, sometimes I will put in Padlet also because sometimes Miro, okay, so I use Miro for me to claim for FRC and also HIPS. Okay, because my courses are half of my courses are practical. Okay, for example, editing, and then digital post-production. Okay, so that is basically cybergogy for FRC. Okay, so I need to show technology. So Padlet would not tap for it. Okay, so Padlet would not be enough. So it has to show like more comprehensive software. So I would use Miro. Okay, so just to achieve the blended learning, okay, so I will use CBox or ChatBox, okay, and then SurveyMonkey, and then Padlet. Okay, so what I would do, okay, so for example, this is my CBox. So this is my ChatBox, okay. So what I would do, so recently I use it for this international class, okay, because I don't know who they are, okay, so plus they are far away, they're not in Malaysia. So what I would do is, most time I don't really want to bug other people. So for example, I don't want to give hassle to my program coordinator or to the secretary, program secretary. Just trying to get info. Okay, for example, contact detail from the students. Okay, so I would use the CBox. Okay, and I would copy and paste the embed code. Okay, and I will put on my eLEAP page. Okay, and I will put instruction. Okay, so from instruction, I would just ask them to key in their details. For example, their name. Okay, and also their contact number. Okay, so after that, I can transfer the contact detail into WhatsApp software. Okay, so my apology because the one course that I used, the chatbot recently, which was last year, okay, I cannot show you the interface because that particular course eLEAP has been deleted. Okay, so I won't be able to show you. Just what ada terwujud. And then the previous one also somehow the eLEAP Vault has deleted it. Okay, but this will be how it will look like on your eLEAP. Okay, so for example, if you copy paste the embed code, okay, so it would appear like this. Okay, but it's going to be fairly smaller than this Padlet. Okay, so you already achieve one. Okay, next you can use Padlet. Okay, so I think everyone knows how to use Padlet. Okay, so usually I would just post a question. Okay, it can be let's say if it's first year student, you can use this as a way for them to introduce themselves. Okay, to the whole class. Okay, but let's say if they are second year, okay, so you can ask PBL question, problem-based learning question. Okay, then you can achieve FIC there. Okay, but you have to screenshot this, or you can post an article. Okay, and then from that article they have to do something. Okay, that is very case study. Okay, so for case study you can also achieve, you can also use that for FRC. Okay, which what I did lah. Okay. So this for Padlet. And for SurveyMonkey, okay, so this one, okay, so SurveyMonkey, I use it recently to find out how many students and will not be able to participate fully 100% in my practical classes. Okay, so for example, let me see. Okay, survey. So ask them. So who has problem with internet? So who has, I mean, SurveyMonkey is good for survey basically. So if you want to ask question, you want to look at the statistic of the student, okay, the demographic. SurveyMonkey is very good. It's better than Mentimeter. Mentimeter is good for a very simple question. Okay, but if you want to look into statistic, okay, for example like this, so I asked them. They also give you the time that the student answer. Okay, so apparently, yeah, they're active around 3 p.m. Okay, so for example like this. So I ask them questions like the name, of course, and then what kind of device do they have? Okay, so because this is editing class, so it is a practical class. So I need them to have device. Okay, at least phone. Okay, kurang-kurangnya telefon. Kalau ada pun tak apa. Okay, but it would be one particular problem occurred earlier during the first session of this blended learning yang gantian tu. Okay, so the first last year lah. Okay, the student they don't know how to explain the situation. Okay, so in class when I ask them, does anyone have problem with the internet or does anyone have problem with their device? Okay, no one say nothing. Okay, so I think they are quite shy to reply or to admit that they have problem with internet. Okay, so I think this is one easy way, okay, for us to find out do they have a problem with the internet or not. Because if I find out that if you ask them on the spot, okay, they don't have time to think. Okay, so they think they don't have problem, okay, but actually they do. Okay, for example, like internet. Okay, they might say they have internet, okay, which is right, they have internet, but the internet connection is not good. I would say if the internet connection is not good, that is similar to not having any internet connection. Okay, so here you can ask for internet connection. Okay, so if you give them some time to answer, for example, you give them the link to SurveyMonkey and you give them time to answer, they will have the time to think. Okay, what will be the best for their status? Mereka akan ada masa untuk berfikir apakah jawapan yang paling sesuai lah untuk keadaan mereka pada masa itu. Okay, so that's why I realize the difference between when I ask them in class, okay, and also when I ask them on SurveyMonkey, they are more responsive and they are more specific, okay, with SurveyMonkey. Okay, so you can ask any other questions up to you. So I'm just giving you example. So what I did with my SurveyMonkey. Okay, so here you already achieved all 3 items. Okay, so you can add more if you want. Okay, but I think for this SurveyMonkey, because it is link based, meaning that there's no embed code for SurveyMonkey, so you have to manually label this SurveyMonkey as activity. Okay, so like what I did, like this one. Okay, activity. But if let's say for Padlet, automatically I think the system and also eLEAP staff they know. Okay, but let's say like this. Oh no, like this. Okay, like this. Okay, so previously with the old eLEAP, they cannot. I mean the system they cannot track Padlet automatically. Okay, so what I always do, okay, so every time I'm putting like, for example, eLEAP link or ChatBox link, okay, or ChatBox embed code, I would label activity number 1. Okay, so this, I mean, this is basically putting it to eLEAP space lah. Okay, saying that I have 1, I have 2, I have 3. Okay, meaning that you will not be able to say that I did not complete your most minimum requirement. Okay, so of course for like in my case, I put it 1 until 3 lah, sampai 3 ada kat sini. Okay, 3 ada. So that is for eLEAP. Okay, so far no complaint from my program coordinator lah. So both Mr. Yao and also Dr. Miao, because apparently I achieved the most minimum. I'm talking about the most minimum requirement for this blended learning practitioner status. Okay, all right. So so this is for the easy audit and documentation, which I done for the past year. So for course filing, the checklist you can check by yourself. Just search for Miss Karen's name. Okay, so you will see that there is that course file checklist info. Okay, there's a lot of there. Okay, but I will help you to simplify. Okay, so for HIPs, okay, so this will be some of it. Okay, dia punya the type that will be allocated to each course. Okay, so first year FIP, for example. Okay, and then we have FIC. Okay, so this is for other courses lah. Okay, so
can I chime in here, Mr. Amir?
yes, sorry. Yes, ada salah ke?
Okay, can you this slide for HIPs we no longer have FYS.
Okay.
Capstone. Right now we only have global learning and I forget another one. Only 2. We no longer have trust.
Okay,
just to you know.
Okay, so this is I took it from my PC's latest list lah. Okay, but I think maybe perhaps the HIPs AJK can inform the rest of the lecture soon lah. Okay. Anyway, I want to skip this because I don't want to be like be puzzled by this HIP and FIC. I also don't want to scare off the new lecturers coming in. Okay, so this may sound a lot, okay, but it's actually not that not time consuming. Okay, so if you plan earlier, okay, so what I did is I planned earlier, preparing for what will be asked for us to submit when the time comes. Okay, for example, okay, so this will be the tips that I used. Okay, when submitting my previous FRC. Okay, I was not involved with HIPs, but I was involved with the course file and also FRC. Okay, so all in all, in summary, so a lot of this documentation they ask for project brief and rubric. Okay, so for example, so project presentation, for the project, for presentation, research, and so on. So for the writing and also thesis writing. So you have to provide project brief and rubric. Okay, so this will be the recurring item that is needed. Okay, next will be snapshot of video conference when student doing presentation. Okay, so this one you either have to do it on your own. Okay, but if let's say you forgot, okay, you forgot to take snapshot during the presentation, you can always refer to the recorded version. Okay, so just like what Miss Natasha mentioned, okay, she always recorded her video. Okay, so from that video, you can take a screenshot. Okay, it doesn't necessarily have to be on that time. Okay, so you can take it later. Okay, so I rarely take snapshot during presentation or during class. Okay, so what I do is I just take screenshot after that. Okay, selepas itu. Okay, and then this snapshot, what I would always do also, I ask the student every time when they are doing project. Okay, so I don't count activity. I ask for project. For example, project 1 and project 2, I want them to take picture. Okay, so anything that is relevant to what they are learning. For example, in my class, they are doing editing, for example. Okay, so one way for me to keep track of them, so I want them to take photo of their discussion session. Okay, for example, like mind map, Multimedia. Okay, or sketches. Okay, so just take photo of the sketches. Okay, that would be nice. If they are here physically in UNIMAS, then it will be it will suffice just to ask them to take photo of themselves while they are doing discussion. Okay. Next would be sample of student work. Okay. Of course, the 3 levels. Okay. Teaching and learning that involve education technology. Okay. So for cybergogi lah basically. So learning, prove that learning took place through peer-produced educational process. Okay. Collaborative learning. Okay. So we have to mention that they are producing the project in groups, okay, with cooperation between each other. Okay, and then proof that show assessing student, okay, mastery of content immediately after the class. This is real-time assessment. Okay, so this one you can use Kahoot. Okay, next would be e-portfolio. Okay, so most of this can be achieved with Miro. So I haven't touched on Miro yet. Okay, so this is how Miro looks like. Miro is basically my favorite savior now. Okay, because all of this Miro can save you. Okay, semua ini actually, okay, kecuali except for things like this. Okay, so if it needs to be real time, then of course Miro is not a good way lah. Okay, this one you can use quiz, Kahoot or quizzes. Okay, but the rest Miro can achieve for you. Okay, so for example, let me open up an example like this. Okay. So this will be their final project. So this is cybergogi from the get-go. Okay, terus they hit cybergogi ni. They involve technology. Okay, because I mean, come on. I mean, this is basically the epitome of technology. All right, and then let's go to the next one. Project brief. Okay, so this one project brief you can either upload on eLEAP. Okay, or you can paste it here. Dekat sini, dekat bagi edit, you can press. Wait. Okay. You can press edit. You can actually just drag dia punya. You can drag like this one lah, basically. So you can drag the project brief together with the rubric into this green screen tab, the biggest tab. Okay, so you achieve that. Okay, snapshot. You basically can ask them to upload snapshot. For example, like this one. Okay, saya minta mereka scan or to scan or either take picture of the sketches. Okay, and also the mind map. Okay, so I think somewhere here ada mind map tu lupa. Okay, you achieve that one. Okay, sample of student work. Okay, one good thing with Miro is that you don't have the fear that Miro will expire. Okay, unless you delete it. Okay, problem with eLEAP. Okay, the one that I realized sometimes, especially the old one. Okay, so the student submission. Okay, it only works I think around 1 year. Okay, that's one of the problem that I faced before. Okay, so when I go back, for example, when I go back to eLEAP Vault, the old eLEAP Vault, okay, so when I press for certain assessment, like this, for example, okay, so when I view the submission, okay, so I think it brings me to a dead link. Dia punya link dah mati. Okay, so itu bahaya. Okay, so with Miro. So the student can basically update this. Okay, for the whole, let's say 2 months, the duration of the project, they can keep updating here. Okay, and all this document, it will never disappear unless you delete this particular board just now. Okay, and that's for that one. And then yep, so learning took place through peer-produced educational processes. Okay, so this one is basically I asked them to work together as well. Okay, so they are like, okay, there are a few groups here. Okay, so what I would do, okay, I would ask the least performing group, okay, to observe the most performing group. Okay, for example, let's say this group and Henvi, for example. So if Henvi is having problem, okay, with their group. Okay, they don't. For example, they don't know how to pitch their work. They don't know how to complete certain milestone. I will ask them to just refer to group 8 for example, because group 8 is very good. Okay, so they can just refer to group 8. But of course, you have to be very careful with plagiarism. Okay, but I think so far I don't face plagiarism. Okay, the student they only look at how the other group are working into their web here. Okay, so that is hitting this collaborative effort. Okay, and then proof that shows students okay, tak ada. Okay, next week portfolio. Okay, and then we have tada. This is the whole portfolio of the student. You can just screenshot. Okay, there are actually other function. Okay, but I think I would prefer you to explore by yourself. Okay, there's way to convert this to a more friendlier interface actually. Okay, so they can update. You can actually log as well. For example, you can log this. Okay, and then only that group has the password. Okay, so sabotage is out of the question. Okay, sometimes not sabotage. Sometimes it's just accident. Okay, so certain student they just touch. For example, they click on this and then they accidentally press delete. Okay, so it will delete. So I always ask student to always lock their group so that nobody else can interfere. Okay. Yep. So yeah. So that's how I did my course file and also FRC. Okay, but I see that HIPS also hit the same, nearly the same requirement. Okay, so I hope everyone would try this. Okay, I would have to be honest here. I really did spend as minimum as I can with eLEAP. Okay, meaning that I spend as much as I can while I can achieve other work. Okay, so not to say that I don't want to spend more time. I mean, I spend time with eLEAP, but it would be best if we spend an acceptable amount of time. Okay, so on each work that we do. Okay, all right. So that's all from me. Okay, so any question we can discuss after this because I think I'm taking Ariana's time. Okay, so thank you everyone.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Alif.
Passing to Ariana.
Okay, can you hear my voice?
Okay, clear.
Okay. Assalamualaikum, very good morning. So I won't take long as well. I think a lot of my other colleagues already discuss and share about what they have done to fully use eLEAP and outside platforms. So I will just somewhat summarize and just show what I have done to from getting 1 star for the blended learning to getting 4 stars. So just like all the other new lecturers, I'm still learning and I'm also struggling to achieve blended learning at certain semesters, especially when those courses does not need a lot of online time. It means that they need physical attention. Okay, so I'll just share my screen for a while. Hold on. Okay, can you hear? Can you hear? Can you see my screen? Okay, so it's not a lot. It's just 8 pages, but I will just share a bit what are the functionality in eLEAP that you can actually use. Okay, I understand there are outside platforms that helps, but let's face it, eLEAPs wants their own family members. Okay, sometimes Padlet and whatnot, it's quite a hassle for you to use and achieve that blended learning. So this is what I have done. I will show you my old eLEAP and as well the new ones at the end of after my presentation. Okay, so my topic is how to utilize and maximize eLEAPs using the tools that is already inside eLEAP so that you don't have to use multiple platforms, sign up multiple platform. I understand it's a struggle and I understand remembering password is quite difficult. So let's just get to it, right? So I already talked about this. So I'll just explain briefly and show you my eLEAP later. So feel free to ask me questions throughout the session if you have any. Okay, for starters, eLEAP have multiple features that can be utilized to help us get progress, updates, submission, course attendance. These features will automatically help us achieve that coveted blended learning that we all want every semester. So I only do the bare minimum because I don't like to use too much outside platform. I tend to get confused. That is me personally. I tend to get confused if I have too much outside platform to be used during the semester. All right. So these are the features that I have used and works well. All right. So for starters, there will be attendance, of course. So this tool is useful whenever you have you cannot make it to class or you have asynchronous classes where you still want the students to take attendance during the class itself. So you can set the day You can also set the time frame where the students can record themselves the attendance. So let's say your class is on Monday 8 until 11. So you want the student to take attendance 8 until 8:30 to record their attendance. So you can set those times. So after 8:30, the students can no longer record the attendance. So this will be very useful as if you have demonstrator and whatnot. This will also help because it's timestamp and whatnot, and it's quite, for me, it's quite easy. Especially I don't want to I like to have classes for 2 weeks and have asynchronous classes the next 2 weeks so that the students are not overwhelmed. But I do check their progress using this. This is forum. It's also an activity. So I tend to use forum a lot to check the students' progress on certain project. I will create one forum for project 1, for assignment 1, final project. So they will update everything there. They can upload files, they can upload videos, they can upload links. And then we can reply directly if we, in real time, we can reply directly and they can see when we reply or whatnot, and they can also reply back. So I think this is a very user-friendly tool in eLEAP that I use a lot. I love this tool so much because it makes my life easier. You can use outside, just like all my other friends, they use for different outside platforms such as Padlet and whatnot. You can, but just like how Natasha was concerned about students' connections, right? I also concerned about they having to install or utilize many platforms themselves. It's just not, it's easy for us, we have multiple accounts, whatnot, so it might not be easy for them. So forum is a good tool for you to use to check your progress, and it's easy, it's real time, it's all recorded there. You can screenshot later on for documentations and whatnot. So it's easy, it's there, and it never goes away. It's always stuck on eLEAP unless you delete it. Okay, so I think it's good. Next tool, I think we all are familiar with this tool. Okay, this is called assignment. It's also an activity. So this is our forever best friend, literally. Let's face it. Okay. This tool is no stranger to us, of course. Students may type directly, upload various files, or just leave the links to their website and cloud. So for the class, just like the class I had with Mr. Azwan last semester, we use this so students can upload directly their links, their Mila learning, YouTube links, wherever links that needed. As it's called digital portfolio, so they need to create multiple platforms. So this will be a good tool. You don't have to check one by one. They don't have to send files. They don't have to send words. They can type directly onto the box itself, and then you can just directly access from there. So again, it's just to minimize those your work. You don't have to download so many Word file containing different links to different students. You can just access everything here and give mark directly. I like to give mark directly, just like I'm assessing. So in eLEAP, you can set the grade to, like, if the project is 30, you can put it maximum 30. So you can just put the allocated mark there, like 15 per 30 right there. So it's safe, just in case that you lose your record, like handwritten record, or your file later on. At least you have the total marks in eLEAP. Okay, I like to use these tools because everything is recorded there. So in case of I need documentation later on for multiple purposes, I can just screenshot or I can just save there. Another feature about assignments that I really like is you can download everything that the student submitted. Just for example, if you have a report and it's PDF form, so instead of you downloading each file on their own using Google Drive and whatnot, you can download a whole folder from the assignment itself, and it will label everything for you. I will show you later. It will label everything for you. Label as in the student's name, the student metric number, and it also will download the PDF file or the Word file according to your brief, and it's there. It's easy and it's convenient. You know, you just download everything there and you don't have to worry about losing it. You don't have to worry about losing student submission. It's there. You can download everything. It will be downloaded in a zip file. You can just unzip it on your computer and you can just view it offline if you want to. So I think it's a good tool as well, just for documentation. Let's face it, in our work line, we need a lot of documentation. So I feel that having that particular tool, this particular tool help. But then I understand we tend to forget. We tend to forget to screenshot. We tend to forget to take photos and whatnot. And sometimes the class happens so fast, we miss out those few things. So this tool is everything on eLEAP. You don't have to worry about losing any of the data needed later on. Okay, so this is also the different tools that I've used. Group self-collection. This one is just for me to, if I have group projects, I will just assign, let's say, 6 groups, maximum 3 selection per group. That means 3 members per group. So students can click on their respective group that they want. So you can monitor whoever don't have groups yet. So you don't have to type in their names on WhatsApp. You don't have to check one by one which student is missing out. So this helps a lot to minimize time. You know, I understand to ask them to reply to WhatsApp is also a hassle. So this helped me a lot if I have group projects or group presentation. So I actually know I can remind those who don't have any groups assigned to any groups yet. So, and then another tools that I use is turning in. Turning in I use sometimes I like to use it for maybe you know, reports that is you want them to have references and whatnot, so you don't want them to plagiarize. Let's say it's a theory-based courses and you have the students to write reports. Of course, you don't want them to plagiarize from multiple resources. So this is a great tool. It can be used aside from FYP writing, of course. And then we go to resources. Remember, Mr. Alif explained just now, we have activity, resources, minimum requirements. So I already label it out for you guys, so you don't have to wonder which one is resources, which one is activities. So for resources, I had to use label, just like what Mr. Amir did. They create banner. In those banner, like, hey there, welcome to the class, or which class is this on? Put it right smack on eLEAP, so they don't have to question which course is this. Okay. And then labels are very versatile. You can embed things. You can type in things, name list for, let's say you like to keep your presentation selection private up until the day before of the presentation. So I like to, what I did with Mr. Azwan course as well, we like to put it, the name list the day before or the night before. So I just type in on eLEAP and WhatsApp to the group, check eLEAP for the name list. So they would just go to eLEAP and check for the name list. So label also helped me to embed video recordings that I did. I use Microsoft Teams a lot. Usually each semester I will create a team with all the students inside there, so that the recordings are there automatically, so I can download and embed it here, or the students can view it there. And I also tend to upload certain files on Microsoft Teams so that the students, if the student cannot access eLEAP, the file is there, just in case we have to have one backup. Let's face it, sometimes eLEAP also face mental breakdown just like the rest of us. Okay. So another resource tool that I use is file and folder. So it's file basically to upload your project brief and whatnot. Folders, if you have multiple resources, multiple reference that you want students to read, you can use folder and it will be downloaded as a zip file. For the tools that I said before, let's just like Mr. Alif already mentioned, we need to have at least one student engaging or a few students engaging to receive the stars or to achieve blended learning. So by doing this, by utilizing all the tools on eLEAP like this, a student will have to go on to eLEAP and upload things, update things, use those activities that we already put in eLEAP. So automatically you achieve that, all that in one go. Student engagement is there, your minimum requirements are there, your documentations and your proof are there. So I think it's a win-win situation, just in case that you feel that it's a hassle to use outside platform. No, I'm not saying that using outside platform is bad, but it's just for my own preferences. I prefer to use everything on eLEAP, so I don't have to switch too many platforms later on. Okay. So last but never forgotten, of course, our favorite URL for resources, just like file. This will help you organize your resources. This will be helpful. That's for online class. You want students to view certain videos, certain tutorials. So you can just put the link there and they can view it. But I would prefer embedding it because they don't have to switch. Again, they don't have to switch to different platforms. What I heard from my students is they keep saying that, Miss, I can't access this, YouTube is too slow, or I can't download this, I cannot view this. So by embedding, they are staying in eLEAP and they can watch the video directly. So they're just using one platform. There are some of my students that just like Yin's story, you know, I think all of us have that one story where the student is struggling to get line or get any source of internet connection. So I try to minimize their you know, they don't have to switch too many you know, outside platform. It's quite difficult for some of them because they do come to me and say like, Miss, I can't. They can sometimes some of them cannot even email. So it's quite difficult. So I try to help where I can, how I can, the best way that I could, and this is the best way I know. So I hope that this helps a lot of us. Okay. I think this online platform that can be embedded using label just now is Padlet, Milano, Google Drive, OneDrive if you want to collect refresher reports and whatnot. Resource platform, YouTube, OneDrive, Behance, Wix. OneDrive here is to collect uploads if you don't want to use the assignment. I'm just telling you this is an option. OneDrive links for videos, also you can embed it on eLEAP. So I think it's a very good, there's multiple more platforms, just as mentioned from Ms. Natasha, Mr. Alif and Mr. Amir. They already mentioned multiple platforms that you can use. But my suggestion for the not young, because I don't know how what age are you guys, for the new lecturers, find something that is suitable for you. All right, I would suggest do not ask too many of your colleagues what they are doing, because let's face it, some of what they are doing might be suitable for them and might not be suitable for you. So you find your own rhythm, you find your own vibe that you can do. If you are inspired by them, by all means do it. But if you can't do it, no one is judging. No one is saying, why aren't you doing this? No, they just want you to do the best that you can. And I think if you do it the best way you know how to, the student will appreciate better instead of seeing you trying to be someone that you are not. A student can see that. Let's face it, that Ms. Natasha said, student can see that if you're not, you know, if you are uncomfortable or you're not preparing for things. So I would suggest is finding some rhythm or vibe that suit with you. Okay, let me just share my eLEAP. Okay, this is my advanced creative eLEAP form. So I found it on Vault. This is the old one. So as you can see, is just 1 star. Even though I receive, I meet the minimum requirement, I receive only 1 star for blended learning status. So this is basically a rough idea of how I started. Okay, we all have to start somewhere, no? So this is how I started. So this is last semester. So I did some improvement and I was able to achieve the blended learning status. So what I usually do, this is what Amir did. Just creating a fun banner for them to see this is what class. I know it's easy. They might miss out what class is this. Let's face it, our student, they might not realize out there. So what I do I do this little tips and advice. Class rule basically doesn't mean it's online, it doesn't have class rule. So I do online version of class rule. So tell me if I have problem with internet connection. Do inform me if you have problems with your group mate. Do not wait last minute to tell me let me know you have problems. My phone is always on for you during office hour because I don't want you to contact me late at night. Do not procrastinate your assignments. Turn on your camera during class. Only turn on mic when you ask questions. Just basic rules. So please be on time. I usually start the online session 15 minutes earlier during actual class. Be alert with online activities and submission deadlines. Inform me if you have problems. So I always mention this in my class. All projects must be submitted on time and must meet all project criteria as stated. Fail to do so, result with no marks given. Okay, so at least they know, they are aware that this the consequences if you don't submit on time. So I will slide in a bit of motivation. I know online classes are difficult, but the lecturers are going through it as well. Let us help each other to get through this. So we are all struggling. This is along with the class rule, I always put planning. Planning is the timeline for the 14 weeks. That's what I do. For week 1, there'll be week 1 class lectures or demonstrator. Which week to submit projects, different projects. I already planned my time. I will let them know that it's subject to change. So if they say that if it clashes with anything else after our vetting and whatnot, I will change it later. But this is just a rough planning early semester, so they have an idea. Of course, the course plan outline and the multiple brief for the classes. So this is like I said, it's very simple. It's not wow like anyone else, but it works for me. So I like to use forums, so files, submissions, so embed videos. All the videos is here, presentation videos, demo. I would like to put it up front so a student just can play it directly, and also of course the links to the various videos that I would like them to view, and the project brief, of course. This is the one that I said I did it with Mr. Azwan, that we co-teach this class. So I also did the same thing. Everything is there. So this is a great tool, by the way, announcement. You can just type in and it will send what you type. What is your announcement, like the things that you want to tell to students via email. Okay, so this helps a lot if you are dealing with first year students where you may not know the phone number and whatnot. Among the 30 students, there will be one student that is always alert with the student email, and he or she will pass it to the other coursemate. So it helps a lot during the ICT class, MPU class. So I don't know the students, so this help a lot when I want to pass that. Dear students, please join this WhatsApp group so they know. So this is various. This is what I say. You can embed like examples, photos. So this is what I want them to do. The calling card. So I already put in the examples along. Okay. So again, this is very simple. Just files, so submissions, embedded videos. This is the attendance that I told you guys about. So it's a very convenient tool for me, just in case that we don't have synchronized classes. So like I said, you just add the session, so you can put the time and whatnot. And this one is for you to check this one. You can just set the day and also the time, from what time to what time they can record themselves, record their attendance. So you can just click allow students to record their own attendance so that they can just record, but it's also within the time frame, so you don't have to worry like they taking attendance like on 12 or 1 o'clock if your class is at 8. So it's a lot easier. So it makes sure the students comes to class on time even though there's no class. Some students, if we say we don't have class at 8, they will just wake up at 11 before their next class at 12. So this helps for them to wake up early. Let's help them wake up a bit earlier. So this is what I do, and I think it works best for me. Using outside platform, I do agree it's a lot easier, it's a lot more fun, it's a lot interactive, but I'm just doing this because majority of my students, they have very low bandwidth or very low internet connections. So I don't want to burden them so much. So I think this is a very good tool. Yeah, everything is there. Everything is recorded. You can just record everything for documentations later on. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it from me. I don't have anything. So yeah, this is kind of banner hey there. So what I usually do is just put everything and the name list for the presentation. This is what I told you guys about. If you want to keep it private, you can post this the night before and then ask the students to view it along with the links and whatnot. So because I don't want to type all this on WhatsApp. It will get let's face it, the students, some of them do not check the WhatsApp at all. Sometimes they just open up the group and then just left it right after. So this will help, and they cannot tell us that we do not tell them because it's there. Okay, unless eLEAP is down. But I also lembut hati juga, soft heart. I will just WhatsApp also this name list. I just copy paste and WhatsApp also. But at least they can't say that oh, it's not, you didn't tell us, or this is for your own safety and the safety of the students. So yeah, it's everything's there for recording. So I'm still learning how to like resizing the photo, but I like it big so the students can see it. So this is what for you, and record so you don't have to search everything next time you record. Let me just show you one of the, let me share one. What if you download the assignment, let me just show you. Okay, I don't know if you can see, I think it's quite small. So when you download from eLEAP, right, it will come out like this. All the names, the metric number is there. You don't have to like download everything one by one. This is a great tool. I know you use Google Drive and whatnot just so that you can have those files. So having this is a lot easier. You don't have to download one by one, and it's there. So it's PDF form. This is for the ICT submission. So everything is there. It's everything labeled for you. So why make it difficult when you can make it easier? That is my philosophy in teaching. Like, don't overcomplicate things. Do the best that you can, and hopefully it helps the students as well. So I guess that is all for me. If you have questions for all of us, let us know. And thank you so much. Back to you, Amir.
Okay, thank you, Miss. Okay, very good sharing session lah.
Okay, can I ask?
Yeah, Mr. Luis.
Okay, this one is more on the technical lah. I'm always confused how to create when it's come to grouping in ellipse. Because the student turn, like for the second assignment, they are changed to another group, and the third assignment they belong to another group. How to do that? To segregate the student. Anybody can help?
Can I help answer?
Yes, please.
What I usually do for group project is maintain the same group. If you have multiple group projects, just maintain the same group so that
because the nature of the project, the first is the basic project, and then another one is a more complicated project. You tend to merge them into like three. First simple project you can give 3. For the complicated project, a more advanced project, maybe you can put 6 of them. That's the reason why they have to be different group.
And then I would just do, if it was me, I would just create two different links, one for group project 1 and one for the group project 2, and just increase the number that you can click on. I think that's easy. Let me just maybe Amir boleh tunjuk ke cara nak tu?
Hello, if I may. Okay, so Mr. Luis, I think I understand your confusion.
Yeah, assigning the student into different group for different project.
I tried before, and I think I faced the same problem as you, as when I already set already, and then I want to set another group of students within the same batch. It's quite impossible because it's following the first setting. So that part also I'm still exploring. But what I did is that I just use the eLEAP's forum instead of using the the grouping I don't know what you call tool. Yeah, grouping tool in eLEAPS. I actually use forum where I create a discussion and then they can choose their groups there. So I think that will make it easier for you to manage as well, because I also tried and I'm still quite confused about that as well. So I understand your confusion, Mr. Luis. So
Later on, the problem, I'm using the forum also. Later on, the problem
uh-huh.
is when come to the submission.
Okay. The submission, but the submission is still individual links, or do you?
No, okay, because I'm having problem assign them in the group. So for the submission, I will assign the ketua untuk only one. But sometimes the student, within the member, they don't really trust each other. And then ada dua tiga orang from the same group, they are submitting the same thing. That's the problem that I'm facing.
I do understand. In my case, this is what I did for my class, because I do have group projects as well. What I did is that even though it's a group project, they will need to submit individual criteria. So for example, they're working in the same project, but each of their role is different. So they can only submit what they did. So that at least I know who did which part. So that is it makes it easier for me to track also and see, oh, within this group, this student did the most. Things like that. So for example, if it's a drawing project, say for example, the entire group needs to come up with 30 drawings. Each drawing must be labeled with their name and their ID, and then they only submit their own drawing. But the theme is the same, the concept is the same, so it's up to them to discuss what they want to do. So that's how I manage that problem. So perhaps the rest also, do you guys have any other method of doing it?
Mr. Luis, mungkin saya boleh cadang lah. Biasanya kalau group project Mr. Luis, kita akan suruh ni lah ketua kumpulan untuk submit assignment.
Memang kita suruh ketua kumpulan, tapi ada member dia yang tak trust ketua dia, dia submit juga. So you ingat itu project, but this fella is belong to this. Because you already have the master list. So you know the particular student should be under this particular group. When you open, the same thing that submitted by the boss. The same copy.
I think I can relate to Mr. Luis' concern, because I had the same issue as well. And I think I spoke to Z also about this before, because I use this function as well for both classes that I have last semesters. Yeah, submission in group, I found it quite, I don't know whether I can say it complicated, but I think it's a little bit hassle.
Quite.
Yeah, because once, even though you state it as submission by group, head of the group, but when come to the list, every name is there still, yeah? So it's a little bit complicated there, but you can see that only certain people will submit though, but then you have to click and to see who are the members. But to choose group member is not as complicated, because that is easy. But there's one thing that I found it a little bit complicated, was to choose topic, because I use that for my class as well. So I give options topic, and I want them to choose the topic out of the selections. That is where the complication comes in. So yeah, I use that. I found out it's a little bit not user friendly, but I still use it because it's a good thing to allow students to involve in the activity. So now I just want to share a little bit of my experience. I think last semester, because it was a new feature on this platform, I found it a little bit difficult to achieve the compliance, or to choose to achieve that 3-star so-called. But in the previous semester, in the semester 1, I hit that 3 stars. But then last semester, I did all what I best. In fact, I put a lot of effort also in my eLEAP. But at the end, my name came out as not compliance. And I do not where did I do slacking or not completed, but I have used all the features what Ariana has mentioned just now, except for the attendance. I used the normal attendance like, you know, the QR code and all that. I did not set it like what Ariana did. But in terms of other things, label, group, and whatnot, forum, I use it all. But still, at the end, my name came out as not compliant. So I had to basically, I call Z and I call also come to verify and to ask what's wrong with my eLEAP. And at the end of the day, they told me it could be because of labeling. Yeah, so it's the labeling. I don't know, but I had to go through my eLEAP patch again and to label each of the activities and assignment or whatnot. So to hit that, you know, the compliance, to fulfill or whatever. Although that I think I have done a lot. In fact, my eLEAP also, I did every week. I had a snippet, a post-lecture snippet I include in my eLEAP as well. So to put out only important point for the student who missed the class and have a problem in access the recorded session due to the internet connection. So what I did, I usually put a snippet, the post-lecture snippets, so that easy for them just to read to get the main point. But then also I had a hard time to comply. I don't know why. Yeah, so yeah, that's my sharing with you when it comes to eLEAP, because I think eLEAP is a great tool, but yet again, there are times that some of the apps or whatever that is not so user-friendly. Thank you.
Yeah, if I may again, just to get back to the issue of submission that is duplicated, like for example, students that are submitting the same thing. To minimize that, what I did also just to share is that I do a Google form or a Google spreadsheet where each group will submit a link. So instead of submitting their assignment, they're submitting a link to their own personal OneDrive. So that way all the group will make their own. So you just have to go to the link that they submit and then just click on it and download their submission. So that way you can control how many submissions you want. The only issue with this method is that, again, it comes to what you have just said just now, labeling. So because you're not using submission tool in eLEAP, you're using a URL per se. So you need to label there really clearly so that eLEAP can see that it is a submission. So that's part of it. Also, there's another issue of student participation. For example, you did a forum, but only 2 students are in there, so that is also an issue. So you have to make sure all the students, if can, they have to participate. So what I did is that I don't use QR code for my attendance, but every week in my activity session, they will have to follow along me, and then they have to submit the activity in an eLEAP forum. So their submission I will consider as attendance. The only downside to this is that I have to check every eLEAP forum one by one and manually see which student actually submit and count them as attendance. So that's the only downside. So more hard work on our side, but I think to hit the criteria of eLEAP, I think that's like bulletproof way of doing it lah, because they have to submit anyway. So if you force them to submit, they'll have to, so they'll have activity in eLEAP. So that's also another method that I'm doing. So yeah, if anyone else has any other method that's easier also, I would really appreciate it too.
What I did for my class is, remember I told you that I use forum to keep progress, right? And I only do synchronized classes for week 1, 2, and then 3, 4. Maybe there will be just progress. So let's say week 4 we use forum. I use forum to collect their progress and whatnot. So what I do to make sure that they submit is week 5 I would discuss all those progress live during the class, so that the students will be afraid. Okay, imagine in a class of 20 there will be like 2, 3 students that did not submit, so it shows that they don't have progress. So we have to use their this to our advantage. Some students do not like to be compared, and they don't like to be left out among their peers. So that's what I noticed on my batch. So what I did was I will ask them to collect progress during week 4 and consider it an attendance on week 4, but discuss it on week 5, so that the students automatically they will upload some sort of updates, just ensure they have the attendance and just to ensure they don't lose face during week 5. So automatically they will submit, automatically you have your attendance, and automatically I will have those student engagement that we want on eLEAP. That is what I usually do. So I label it clearly as progress, so they will have to submit. So we discuss, and they don't want to lose face. Let's face it, the students don't want to lose face among their peers. So I think that it works for me. I just share with you guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hopefully, can answer your question, Mr. Luis and Madam Candida.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I will approach you or Miss Natasha or anybody later.
Thank you, Mr. Luis.
If I may, just one more thing. I'm also I've been supervising Sulam for a few semesters now. So I also found that the method that Kak Nur Hasilina has been doing is really effective as well, where she used Padlet to track progress. So Padlet can also be used as a submission platform as well. So that way, when one student submit, the rest of the group members, they can see, oh, our leader already submit. So I don't have to submit anymore. So I think the issue with eLEAP submission is that it's very individual and you don't know who else is submitting. So when the trust issues come, like what Mr. Luis has said, kawan-kawan dia tak percaya, so dia nak submit juga. It's because they don't see the submission being submitted. So with Padlet, everyone can see everyone's submission. So at least there is no duplicate. So then again, this part, you just need to label it properly, saying that it's a submission. That's it. Yeah. So that's another way of getting to it. Yeah. Alright, thank you. Itu saja. Next, Amir.
Okay, thank you, Miss Natasha.
Okay, I will. Can I add something also?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Hi, I'm Terry. About the external tools. Okay, if you use the external tools, our eLEAP system will not be able to automatically detect. So that's why you need to put the activity label as clearly as possible, so that our staff who has to look through at it manually, okay, to able to identify and check whether the participation is sufficient based on the number of students enrolled to the course. Okay, so that's some points lah, some notes about using external tools in eLEAP. Boleh digalakkan, but make sure we label it properly lah, because so that our staff, our e-learning staff can quickly identify.
I think Padlet dah macam auto, I think. So I think eLEAP staff automatic tahu Padlet activity. Automatic, I think.
Padlet is popular, so dah tahu. Ada in case ada e-learning tools lah, yang baru.
Especially links lah.
Yes, yeah. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Dr.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Tentang yang tu, Dr. Terry, apa nama tu, yang 3 benda tu yang kita dah tahu aktiviti kita dah buat, masih belum ada kan dalam eLEAP? Still don't have.
Oh, yang star tu belum lagi. Still in progress. Tengah fikir cara yang sesuai, cara yang baru to display the.
Because semester pun mine also tak mencapai juga.
So we try we also no, not yet, not for the new eLEAP. But we'll try to provide another early report lah of all the performance for mid semester like that, so that we can make any improvement before the end of the semester.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any question? If don't have, I think we can end our session lah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Terima kasih semua.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.